All right, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Cafecito and Canes post-game edition. I got here one of my boys, one of the better Canes. I guess what do you call it? Content creators on YouTube. Good buddy of mine, part of Team Miami Flow. Lex of the Miami Mayhem show.
Exactly.
Correct. So
How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm doing. I always feel good after a win, man. And now I got the Dolphins here playing on my phone that I'm taking peeks at and beating the Jets 3-0. So that's always good. Yeah, man. So I always feel good after a Canes win. I always feel really good after a Canes butt whooping like we just laid on BC. So tell me, man, after watching that game, I'm assuming you watch. I'm sure you watched the entire game. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts is what could have been this whole year. What could have been.
Me too.
I mean, we did what we're supposed to do against those type teams, which we should have done against some other teams. I mean, 243 yards of rushing. TVD was putting the ball on point. Had a couple of misses here and there. Our defense, except for the quarterback, which I got to give him credit. The quarterback for BC, did his thing. Pretty good running back there too. I mean, we held it down. So, again, we feel good to win. I think we had over 500 yards of total offense.
533.
533 with 240 on the ground. I mean, we always say what could have been. I mean, but yes, it's great to end the year on a win, man. It was great to see. You know what? I think the happiest thing was great to see the excitement on the sideline after the team made plays, which we haven't seen that for over a month and a half. So seeing that was always a good way to go into your bowl game.
For sure. I love the energy. I loved what my initial thought was, first off, man, where was this offense the rest of the season? But aside from that, my other first thought was I loved how this team could have easily folded up their tents and mailed it in for this last game, as a lot of teams do when things kind of unravel in November, and just get this game over with and go back home to their families, enjoy the break. But they didn't do that. They came into this game not only wanting to win, but to dominate and end the season on a high note. I love the physicality. I love the energy that we brought. And TVD, you could tell he made it a point that he also wanted to end the season on a high note and kind of, prove the doubters wrong and show what he really is and what he's really capable of. And I really enjoyed you don't have to do a lot, just a sprinkling of creativity just to keep the defense guessing. That was enough to, for the O-line to really anchor down and give TVD 9 hours to throw the ball. And when he's given that much time and guys have a chance to get open, like I said in my pregame show, if it's a situation where it's our guy against your guy who's more skilled, we're going to win that battle all day against a team like BC. And that's exactly what we did today.
And it was, we know TVD the last 2 years has had some injuries and it sucks as part of the game. But seeing him run out of the pocket instead of just throwing the ball into some tight coverage, he took his 3 or 4 yards, or he threw it out of bounds. I mean, it kills you as a person. Like, he can do it. He has all the physical traits. We loved him when he came into this year. We thought what he could have brought on his end was what we needed to get over the hump. And then it doesn't happen for 5 weeks. And look what he does today. He made the right decisions. He didn't put the ball in harm's way. We know we had that one fumble with our running back. I didn't really look at it, see whose fault is who, but guess what? He didn't put the ball in danger. And a lot of his throws were on point. I mean, one of my favorite throws was to Kobe Young for the touchdown.
Perfect.
He put it right there he didn't even think about it. He let it loose. He knew where his receiver was going to be. Kobe Young, 6'4". I think the DB was only like 5'10", 5. You could tell them. And he put it perfect. I mean, that's all you asked. So, but again, like you said, we didn't fold up. Great energy. Winning record guaranteed for this year. Great turning stone. And also, man, I think it shows the younger guys, it shows recruits that our team came. You know what I'm saying? We're ready to play.
Yeah, and it shows First and foremost, I mean, you look at this offensive line. The offensive line might have had their most dominant performance of the season today. It's arguable, but because they've had a few dominant performances, but today, like against an ACC team on the road, I mean, I have literally no complaints. The offensive line just absolutely killed it today. A potential quarterback coming out of the portal, if, assuming we're going portal shopping for, at that position, a portal quarterback's going to see that and be like, oh, my jersey is going to be clean all day. And of course, TVD, you mentioned the injuries. He had, the issue with his leg that, they finally released more details on that in the last couple of weeks, that like the skin was detaching from the muscle or something like that, which I didn't even realize was possible. But he was dealing with that. He was dealing with a rib injury at one point. He was dealing with the finger thing all season where he tore ligaments in his finger. Just, again, what could have been. Imagine if he was healthy, a healthy quarterback with this offense that's, that's smart, can deliver the ball accurately, and is athletic enough to pick up a first down with his legs. And again, who's healthy, I think can do a lot with this offense. It doesn't need to be anything. I don't think Dawson needs to run like a Mike McDaniel kind of offense. I just think he needs to run what he did today.
100%. Today's scheme fit our players perfectly. I mean, we are young at receivers. All receivers can come back. All of our tight ends can come back. Running backs, my Lord. I mean, and the O-line, I mean, you could have ran semi-trucks through those holes today. I mean, you literally. And, we know the right side's young. We know the 3 starters that can leave. If Miami can find a way to keep 1 out of 3, you still have McCoy. You still have some big players coming in. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, let's just say we are going QB shopping, get 1 or 2 another O-lineman to join the one we have now, and any QB is going to be attracted to Miami. Any QB. You don't get hit. You're going to look good. You got playmakers. I mean, it's the right way to the path. And, depends what school you're coming from. You may need to elevate who you play against for that NFL tape.
Absolutely. And I almost forgot regarding the O-line. We just got Markel Bell, who's like bigger than Bryant McKinney. He's the size of a building.
It's like 6'8", 360.
I think he's like 6'8" and a half, like close to 6'9". He's
like a lunar eclipse, bro. He's gonna cover half the field.
Yeah, like created in a lab, kind of big. And then you got on the tackles. I think we're good. Even if let's say guys leave. The guys that might leave. Let's say they leave, all of them. You still got Tommy Kinsler. You still got McCoy. You still got Markel Bell. You got CeCe. You got Pancake. You got. Yeah, and also you're bringing in guys this year, so you got dudes.
Who's the one player? There's 2 players that touch the ball every single. No, actually, if you run a Wildcat, technically there's only 1 player that touches the ball every single snap on offense. That's that center. And what Matt Lee's done, controlling this offensive line, protection-wise, making sure everybody's on point, is something that speaks to the level of, whatever that man wants, give him to stay 1 more year. So, or we have to go in the portal, but we need that's the biggest position right now after QB of my, what I'm worried about, because we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's QB, it's center, D tackle, middle linebacker, and safety, I think are like the top positions of need. As far as just, and it's not so much that we're lacking talent in any way. I think we're just lacking experience, really, in those positions. It's just going out and getting a veteran to kind of bridge that gap. The funny thing is, I just pictured it in my head. It's all like straight up the middle. Center, QB, middle linebacker, like everything in the middle of the field.
And then go to safeties, because we don't know what they're going to do.
Right. No, safety. No, I mentioned safeties too. But yeah, I find it. Ooh, Miami just scored. Nice. Cheetah. Very nice.
I'm trying to hear. I got the TV in the background, but I didn't want to be distracted.
Yeah. No, I got it playing on mute here. Some of those guys are going to leave for sure, but I find it hard to believe if every single one of them leave. I think we'll convince at least a couple to stay. If you can convince Matt Lee to stay, that would be massive, because I think he is the glue of the offensive line. He's that veteran leader. You saw that little bit of shakiness when he was out for like 3 plays because of his helmet, because they couldn't get his helmet fixed. I think they got a couple guys that might be the center of the future, but you need either him to stay or go out and get a veteran just to bridge the gap. And Maui Noah, I think, would be the other one that I think Cam and Leonard Taylor most likely are gone just because they're going to get looks, first and second round kind of looks. But Maui Noah, I think you can convince him to stay, and that would be massive. He is the Matt Lee of the defense, in my opinion.
100%. If you can convince Lee, and then of course we know Cohen has already got the Senior Bowl invitation. Hey, great job what he did for us. Hopefully he plays the bowl game and moves on. Congratulations. I don't think Rivers is 100%. I think Rivers is 75 yes, 25 no. I think there's still a small chance. But if you can convince Lee, I can't say a last name, so I'll call him Nico, Francis' older brother. And if you can convince one of our safeties to stay, if you can convince one of them to stay, because I don't think James Williams is 100% gone, no matter what people say on social media. I don't think he's 100% gone. I think with Alonzo in the room, I think kids are not going to make better calculated decisions. So if the right decision is to leave, look, man, thank you for your years. You got better. I said at the beginning of the year he was going to play his best season ever, and he really did. Please do what you got to do. But if the right decision is to come back, and he does, then our defense just takes it to another level again. Because like you said, Francis' older brother and that middle linebacker, that's the biggest decision in our defense right now. Because, man, does he hit gaps like we haven't seen a linebacker do in years.
If you can get him, honestly, I'll feel really good. If you can convince him to stay, Daryl Porter, after the season he had, I think likely you can convince him to stay. Because I don't think he has quite enough tape out there. I think if he puts out another year like he did this year, yeah, he's going top 2-3 round easily. Convince those two guys to stay, I'll feel pretty good. Anything more than that is just gravy. But
let me ask you this. Let's say Lee says, I want to stay. Nico wants to stay. Maybe a James Williams or a Cam wants to. Daryl says, maybe that entices Rivers to say, you know what? Maybe we can make a better run. When people stay, sometimes you can get the group to come together as one. We've seen
absolutely.
Don't you remember the Clemson team for like 3 or 4 years ago where they're all first rounders and they all wanted to make another run at it?
Yeah.
So you're right. If you can just grab a little bit of momentum that wow, maybe we don't need to go shopping as much as we need to, or we don't have to recruit as much as we need to in the portal in some positions.
And that right there is why culture is important and why culture needed to change. That is one major thing that I don't think gets talked about enough that Mario did do. Like you saw today. Look, we're playing for 7-5. It's not, nothing to like have a celebration over, but you know what? They laid it on the line today to finish with that winning record because they know every game. It's not like the NFL where you're tanking for a high first round pick. Right. Every game matters. The recruits are watching, and they know that. They want to leave this program in good hands. I remember back in 2000, you probably remember this as well, a lot of those guys could have left. Ed Reed, people forget, was a redshirt senior his final year. He was here for 5 years. Okay. And then a few years later, I think 2003, Vilma and DJ could have left as juniors after the Fiesta Bowl. They were like, no. We got unfinished business. They stayed for 2003 for their senior years, and they were still first rounders. So culture change can convince guys to stay more and make another run at it, because over the years, that's another problem we've had. How many times have you seen a guy leave 1 year too early over the years?
I mean, we've had that happen over the last decade easily because of the bad culture in the locker room. Like, you know what? I can get some money. We're not getting paid to play. There was no NIL. So why would I stick around for this? And transferring a decade ago, you don't know if you'd get the release to play right away. But now with NIL, hey, look, I'm a 5th round pick. I'm maybe a 4th round pick. Look, guys, NIL helps you secure that, okay, and maybe you can get a better draft stock options, by putting on another year play. So yeah, man. So we're kind of hitting the right stride to do it. We've got the culture change. We got a great recruiting class coming in. from everything on social media, we got some more recruits coming in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, John, this I don't know. I mean, I really don't think people are leaving and going to jump ship as fast as everybody says they are on this year's team. I have some doubts. I think that they're heavily thinking about now they can actually think what's best for them with all routes available, not just having to leave school. So, and I think majority of the team's going to stick around. And remember, and I hate to say this, and people are going to kill me because everybody knows me as 15-0 Lex.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't next year the 12-team playoffs?
I believe so. I believe it starts next year.
You know, there's a lot to really think about, man. It gets me excited. And you know what sucks? So we have to wait 9 months. We waited 9 months for this season, and this season went over like this.
Dude, 13 weeks have never flown by so fast in my life. It was so crazy. But, you know, the summer and the spring tend to go by pretty quick too. So hopefully, you know, August will be here again before we know it. Sorry about that. Yeah, it'll be here before we know it. And yeah, no, I look at that schedule next year for 2024. And yeah, we open in the Swamp, which I am honestly, and this is the first time I can honestly say this in years, like of all the times that we've opened the season against like a Florida State or a Florida or, you know, like one of these big neutral site games that we do every so often. This is the first time in a long time I look at this game. I'm like, this is a game we should absolutely win. I am expecting a victory in the Swamp from this team.
100%.
Okay. You know, 100%. I'm sure Florida's going to improve as well. They're going to add some portal guys. They're going to have a nice little recruiting class as well. I'm sure they're going to get a new quarterback. They're going to be better too. But I'm expecting a victory against those guys. Like, no more excuses at this point.
Well, look, man, Florida's not having their best year, but playing at the Swamp is still playing at the Swamp. It's not one of the easiest places to play, and everybody knows that. And we haven't been there in a long time. You know, it's a game where you're going to have a lot of Miami fans coming up from Miami. There's going to be a lot of talking going on, but I expect a victory. And that first game sets the tone for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I don't remember the entire schedule, but I know they've kind of flip-flopped it on us a lot. We're adding Cal next year?
Yeah, we got Cal. I'll bring it up right now. Hurricanes.
Which I'm telling you right now, if you don't mind me saying on your show, John, the Swamp game for the Gators, Lex will be throwing the 3rd annual Miami Flow Watch Party in Kissimmee/Orlando, Florida. We had a great one for the Seminoles. It will be the same location. I've already got confirmations from everybody who's there that they're coming back. So just want to let everybody know, man, we're going to throw a big party.
Nice. No, I can't wait. I can't wait for that game. Let me bring up the schedule. The official schedule hasn't been announced, but we do know who we're playing as far as like which ACC teams we're playing. The only games that are set as far as the date are the non-conference games. So let me pull it up.
When is that Cal game anyway?
Let me see. I'll tell you right now. So, okay, we open against the Gators at Ben Hill Griffith Stadium on August 31st. So that might even be like a week 0 game.
That is week 0, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we open at home against Florida A&M, little tune-up game, and then the following will be Ball State at home as well. So a couple of tune-up games. Okay. And then on the road against USF, that should absolutely be a win. Honestly, no disrespect to USF, but that's 3 tune-up games in a row. And then after that, it says TBA as far as the date, but after that, it says California Golden Bears. So
that should be September 4th, huh? Probably. If I'm looking at my Fridays correctly.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, that should be September 21st.
Oh, November. I'm sorry, that should be October 4th.
October 4th, because I don't know when the bye week is yet. They haven't said that. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I'm assuming all the non-conference games are first, and then we start our ACC schedule, which is going to consist of at Georgia Tech, at Louisville, home against Duke. That should be a fun one. Home against Florida State. Home against Virginia Tech. We get to renew that rivalry. That's cool.
And we're home against Virginia Tech?
Yep.
Oh, that's going to be a great one. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Home against Wake Forest. And finally, renewing an old Big East rivalry at Syracuse in the Carrier Dome.
I can't wait. I'm kind of excited for next year's schedule. It's kind of a change that we have here.
Yeah.
I got a chance to attend a lot of games this year. Away and home is kind of fun. Planning on being at the Cal game for sure. Want to go see Cal. Planning on the Georgia Tech game, but Duke, Florida State, and Virginia Tech at home is going to be a lot of fun.
That's a nice home schedule. And Georgia Tech and Louisville on the road, we got to get revenge in those games. Both obviously winnable games. Look, the ACC is much better. Like this year, they took a big step forward. Georgia Tech, who honestly on defense, we dominated them. We held them to like 200 yards or something. They were 5-3 in the ACC this year. They knocked off UNC. Yeah, Georgia Tech is no joke.
Duke, if Riley didn't get injured, you don't know where Duke would be right now.
They're probably 9-3, 10-2 right now. Possibly, maybe vying for a spot in the ACC title game, but probably not. I think Louisville would have beaten them out. But Clemson, who now is ranked, we beat them. So, like, overall, the ACC is better. They've kind of had a great second half of the year. But I don't look at that schedule, and I'm sure you agree. I don't look at that schedule, and there's no one game that you're like, ooh, yeah, that's probably a loss. No, every single one of these games, including Florida State, which is probably our toughest game, every single one of these games is winnable. And honestly, if you look at them individually, all games we should win.
And I hate to say this, but I looked at every game this year the same way. And not because I just drink the Canes juice. I was just being honest. I really, when you break down our lineup and our roster compared to everybody we played this year, we matched up very well in all aspects of the game. We just didn't play, So I agree with you, John. There's no reason looking at our roster right now, even if we have a few personnel leave, we know we're going to add those positions. There's no reason. I don't look at any game next year and say, look, we're going to, this is 2 or 3 losses. No, I don't see that. And that's that cultural change you keep talking about, man. People want to play when the culture is right.
Yeah, no. And honestly, my prediction was 8-4 going into the year. Like, that was kind of the average prediction.
Mine was 12-0.
Yeah, I know. I went into the season thinking, we're probably going to lose like 4 games looking at the schedule. There was like 1 or 2 that I was like, FSU, Clemson. Granted, I didn't realize what Clemson was going to be, but I thought, FSU, Clemson, those are the probably losses. And then maybe 2 more, we slip up, but overall we'll be improved. But then look back at how those games played out. We were a quarterback away from being 12 games. 9-3, 10-2 right now with a good quarterback and some better play calling. Because the rest of the roster, this was a roster that could have won 10 games this past season.
And I actually think look, let's be realistic here. I'm going to take the Canes juice hat off. The better quarterback play, we're 11-1 right now. Not 10-2, not 9-3. We're 11-1. Out of all the games, to me, that would have been the biggest toss-up was North Carolina. Because I think with good quarterback play, we beat Louisville. We beat FSU. We're an elbow or a knee from Georgia Tech. I think NC State would have been a win, no problem. I think out of all the games that you could have said, to me, in my opinion, would have been the North Carolina game.
Yeah. I think even worst case scenario, you take the knee against Georgia Tech. Honestly, better quarterback play, you beat them by 3 touchdowns, honestly. And what was the other one that we had no off? NC State. That one we just had 0 offense in that game. Any better quarterback play, competent quarterback play, we win that game. So worst case, you're 2 games better, which is 9-3. Worst case this year. So now that I saw that play out, I was like, damn, I knew we were going to be better. But this today, and really the last 2 games, because the offense played pretty well against a top 10 team last week. Today proved to me what my eyes have been telling me all season. This team is more physical. They're tougher mentally and physically, which people have short memories. Look over the last decade. How often did you see this team get punched in the mouth and then they just roll over and lose by 40?
Correct.
That didn't happen this year. Even in the North Carolina game, we fell behind 3 touchdowns, but you know what? We kept fighting. We were down 10 and we were driving to make it down 3. But then TVD threw a pick. But even look at that game. The difference in that game, the fumble on the goal line by Henry Parrish. Because so even that game. could have been a toss-up. You know what I'm saying?
Or when's the last time you heard of Miami being one of the best rushing teams in the ACC?
One of the best rushing teams and one of the best rush stopping teams. They are the best run defense in the ACC right now.
We knew when Mario came that they would address the O-line. We can't do anything about last year. We were playing third-string O-lineman half the season, so we can't count that. But when Mario and Maribel can recruit their own linemen, look at what they can do. And now we went from being 6'2", 280. Now we're what, like 6'6", 330.
The average guy is like that big.
Running backs want to come play behind the line. This is a Georgia, Alabama, SEC type offensive line we have now. And they dominated against some of the bigger teams. We ran the ball right down their throats. We ran down the ball through A&M. We went through Clemson. And again, you got O-line like that, any high-profile running back's going to be like, I'm coming. I'm coming. And to me, that's the biggest thing for me this year personally was, when's the last time we could have said we have an O-line? And Miami's never been known to have the best O-line in the last, 5 or 10 years. You've always had one player here, or you have one 5-star recruit that doesn't show up, or one of this. Or I mean, this O-line took it to town.
And that leads me to my last point. I don't want to keep you on too long. I know this Dolphins game's going on, but you mentioned something before I hit the record button. We were talking a little bit about TVD. Played very well today. There's 2 games in a row now that he's played solid. He's looked like his old self again. And really, you look at how he played. He wasn't trying to do too much. And when he settles in and doesn't try to do too much, he picks up not first downs, but like if there's nothing there, okay, I'll pick up 4 yards with my legs and slide. I'll roll out and throw it away. I'll take the dump off. I'll get 2 yards. That's better than a pick. And really, that one fumble to AJ Allen, you could blame. I saw the replay. I was like, it was a little bit TVD because TVD kind of bobbled the catch of the snap. So it's a little bit on him, but also he was able to get it to AJ Allen, but it was kind of rushed. So you throw off the rhythm a little bit on a handoff, that could happen. So aside from that, no, TVD was solid today. But let me ask you this. I know it's likely not going to happen. So I'm going to preface this by saying hypothetical. Let's say something happens that, you know what? We ended up working something out with TVD, great NIL deal, great. He's healthy now. He's all healed up. He fixed whatever he needs to fix. He's our quarterback for next year. Honestly, tell me the truth. Like, how would you feel about that?
I've gotten to the point, man. I used to be one of those crazy Miami fans that would just go nuts over everything. I'm to the point now where whether I like it or not, whatever the head coach is going to put on the field, I'm going to support. And that's it. We can't control those decisions. You are right. I don't see it happening. But if TVD comes out against the Florida Gators for the first snap of next year, I'm going to be cheering for the Miami Hurricanes just like I did every game this year, win or lose. And that's what a fan should do. Disagree all you want, be on social media, but when the game is on, support the team 100% because the decision is out of our hands, John. So, I mean, that's what somebody gets paid $8 million a year. And that's what he thinks is best for our team. That's best for our team. And that's it, man. Let's go. Let's roll.
Yeah. I'm gonna support whoever we roll out with. 100% agree with you. But if let's say I'm Mario and I'm making that pick, that's TVD or go shopping in the portal. I honestly think a serious upgrade can be made there. And he's had the injuries. Who's to say he doesn't have injuries next year as well? So I think we've seen enough of a sample size of TVD. There's been a lot of up and downs along the way. It's a big enough sample size that you can argue that this might just be who he is. Unfortunate to say, because I like to do it. I've been pulling for him all season to kind of turn it around.
This is the game we've been waiting for this game for 6 weeks to turn it around.
No. And I was the first to say, look, he doesn't have it anymore. Put Emery, give him a shot. But now we were in a position that we had to go with TVD. But yeah, the last 2 games, he's really showed me something. I think, he should hit the portal, get healthy, go to another school, whether it's, go back home to UConn, which, their program's kind of on the come up right now, or go to another school and go kill it. And I think he will with the right offensive coordinator. But I think it's time for Miami to turn the page at that position. Go get somebody that's like a legitimate dual threat. You know what I'm saying? A legitimate dual threat in Shannon Dawson's offense.
Do you think so? Do you think we really need a dual threat?
I think so. I just think it's not so much that Miami needs a dual threat. I just think in today's college football, everyone needs a dual threat, Not like a Jaden Daniels that's going to take it 60 yards to the house at any given moment, but a dude that, like, you see that Red Sea part, you see that O-line part, you're like, he's got the first down. He picks up 12 yards, 15 yards and slides, like, easily, just a good athlete that you could feel confident. This dude, if he doesn't pick it up with his arm right now, he's going to pick it up with his legs and keep the drive alive.
It was funny what we saw TVD do today, John. I mean, he picked up 4 yards here, 5 yards, 3 yards on his legs. If you just get a hair more than that, that's not a true dual QB. But I see what you're saying, man. It's just we need a QB. You know what? You can keep TVD next year on the roster if you want. You still got to bring in a portal QB. You still got to bring somebody in. But I agree with you. Good, the young man, I think we're ready to go to the next phase. And the only way to take this team to the next level, you're 100% right, is to get somebody else back there, starting against the Gators next year. Agree with you 100%.
Mm-hmm. All right, so there you have it. We get a dominant win over the Boston College Eagles in their house. Miami had 532 yards total, opposed
in 40-degree
BC,
weather.
In 40-degree weather, as opposed to BC's 294. We forced 2 turnovers. We only had the one that was the fumble on the handoff. We had 27 first downs to their 14, and we dominated time of possession 35-25 to 21-44.
Wow.
So you look at this game as a whole, we pretty much dominated every phase. They got the block.
It's going to be a good play flight home.
Yeah. They got the blocked field goal at the end. That kind of bugged me. I wanted to, because I think if we iced the game right there with a field goal, we might have seen JB today. But I think it would have required like a 30-point lead or something like that, apparently, to throw him in. Because I thought with up 24 with like 8 minutes to go or whatever it was, I'm like, yo, put him in. At least have him audition for, whatever he wants to do next year. At least have him audition a little bit, get some reps.
Nobody knows what's going on behind closed doors, man. And we're gonna find out pretty soon. December 4th, it's gonna be a rodeo. We're gonna find out very soon what the future of that standing is. And I hope he's here. And if he's not, good luck to anybody that leaves. Good luck to the young men. That's all you can ask.
100%. All right, Lex. Well, I appreciate you being on, man. As always.
Thank you for having me, like always, man.
Yeah, let them know. When do you guys do Thursdays, right, for Miami Mayhem now?
Yeah, we do Thursday night, 8:00, Miami Mayhem. You can find our podcast also on the LinkedIn. Of course, with Thanksgiving this past Thursday, we took the night off, but we will be back next week. And of course, when the bowl game comes, we will be doing the pregame bowl game show, the tailgate show, like always.
Awesome, man. All right, well. Enjoy the rest of the holiday weekend with your family. I'm gonna go chill and relax. Enjoy this victory.
God bless you, John. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Thank you, man. As always, go Canes.